Hi, so I had a question from one of my lovely workshop attendees about mixing a purple. She found a photo of a flower, or some flowers that she wanted to try and mix up, and I had some questions about how to do it. So I'm kind of guessing the exact colours that she's got, but it was kind of this sort of deep kind of reddy, a bit magenta-y. So this is an alizarin crimson hue. I'm going to use that one, and then I'm going to use, she had two blues. Again, I'm not sure of the exact specifications, but this is an aquafine cobalt, and this one is a cerulean. So I'm going to try with both of those, but I'm going to show you a little bit about how I would potentially go about mixing it. So I've got, this is a bigger set, but let's just pretend I had less colours. Right, so start with my red. So that's my red. Try and do it nice and big so you guys can see. And that's what it looks like. Super pale. Maybe a tiny bit more so you can see it a bit from there. So it's kind of pinky and it's just red. Well, then the blues, obviously I should change my water here, but I'm not doing that because I'm trying to do this quickly. Right, so we've got, this is our cobalt, lovely blue. And again, a slightly lighter version. You can already see my water here is going mauvey, which is why you keep your water clean. But yeah. So a lighter version here, and then the other blue, which is the cerulean, just by comparison there. Right, so what I would do to start mixing this up, I would take my base colour, oh you can see this, so I started using my red. And then very slowly, I would start moving a little bit of blue in. So you can already see that that is very slightly starting to change. So you can see that that is already a slightly mauvey compared to the original. I mean, okay, it's not as dark as it, so maybe I'll just add a bit more paint so you can see this a bit better. But it's quite useful to have a look at it in terms of with more or less water as well. So, right, let's do a bit more paint. So we've got a bit of the cobalt, that was what we were adding to this. A little bit of cobalt. So you've already got that. It's the same, isn't it? That slightly different hue there. Right, and then I would add a little bit more. So basically just keep working through adding more of the next colour. So you can already see that that is coming out a bit more purpley. So we go again, a bit more blue. So you can see how that is changing it very slowly every time I add a bit more. Just going to try and do this super quick. This is not very methodical, but this is pretty much what I would do. I would just work through it and add more and more and more of the colour. So you can see we're getting more and more purpley. And then very soon, I'm gonna have to go on to the next line, which is annoying. Very soon, I mean that is almost, it's not blue, but it's getting closer and closer to actually being blue now. So you can kind of see how you would work your way through and decide which colours you kind of liked better, and then from there you could start watering it down to see what sort of colour it made with a bit less, well, with different ratios basically. So if you wanted a paler or a darker, and it might be that actually you want a much stronger colour. See, that's really lovely. But again, as with all of these things, it's just about experimenting, which I really do enjoy. And I mean, obviously, this isn't hugely, yeah, hugely bright, but it's a really rich colour. And I don't know, it's quite difficult because I think a lot of the tones that you find in nature aren't exactly bright, so it's kind of, it depends what you want to depict and depends how realistic you want it to be. Now I'm just going to change my water and then I'm going to use the other two, so I'll do that super quick. Right, nice clean water. I actually should have shown you that because it was a really nice colour, but anyway, so I'm going to use the cerulean and the, what was this again? Alizarin. So we will do that again. So start again with the super pinky red, and then we slowly start adding our blue. So, as before, it's just slowly starting to add a bit of the cerulean into the red. And again, I'm losing the light, it's a bit late, but you can see, oh, that was quite a big jump, wasn't it? Maybe you want a bit more in the middle, but in fact, that's nice too. So this, I mean, we'll see it when it dries, but it's very similar. Although it's maybe a tiny bit brighter, it is a very similar kind of colour. So you can just see the effect that they have on each other. I'm just trying to do it with a bit more paint to kind of illustrate when it's a bit thicker. So this is working well. I mean, I think this is quite a good movie. Yeah, these are nice. But again, you can see as you add a bit of water, there's slightly different tones that comes out. Let's carry on going through that. A bit more blue. I feel like this almost, yeah, this is quite kind of lavendery, isn't it? This, and it's, here we go. So this is really like on the blue end now. It's kind of starting to go towards a kind of cornflowery blue, I think. Got a bridesmaid dress in this colour once. Yeah, so, oh gosh, I think that shows it. I think that is kind of basically the process that I would go through, and then I would sort of work through and sort of, I guess in this case, find the ones that you like the best and kind of find the right ratio, and then go back and sort of mix them up again, and then start sort of, I don't know if you're trying to create some flowers or something like that, start sort of layering them up and using the colours, some with more, some with less. I think the mixing the tones is a really good way of doing it. It doesn't have to all be one. And then, yeah, I mean, and with all of these, it depends sort of how accurate you want to be and how true to life and things like that. But I think the contrast with then, if you say, for example, use a green, I guess if it's a lavender, it's a slightly bluey green, isn't it? it's actually the contrast with other things sometimes that helps. So by itself it might not look, you might not be completely happy with it, but actually, I mean, I don't even know what I'm doing here, but yeah, I hope that's a good example. And if you have any other questions, let me know, because I'm always happy to help. Yeah, and thank you for watching.